For ZZ Top has died. Frank Beard, he was 77 years old. He had been in hospice care in Texas, and he's being remembered very fondly by very many people, not only...
The band confirmed to CBS News that Beard died Monday at his ranch in Richmond while in hospice care. Beard attended Irving High School. The band was supposed to perform this week in Salt Lake
Ranch in Richmond, Texas. The band's official X account announced back in March of 2025 that Beard was stepping away for unnamed health issues.
On the night of August 17, 2026, the poised drum beat that anchored the soul of ZZ Top ceased forever, plunging the global rock music scene into a state of profound shock. A $1 million performance in Hollywood canceled at the final moment, a sudden disappearance behind the gates of the Richmond Ranch, and a series of dark questions shrouded the day he was laid to rest. Still, Frank Beard's biological son has officially stepped into the light, unveiling for the first time the full extent of the untold hidden corners, the fierce battle on his sickbed, the will determining $50 million USD, and the shocking truth behind the decision to lay down his drumsticks after more than half a century of blazing passion.
Top drummer Frank Beard has died at the age of 77. The Texas-born musician died Monday at his ranch in Richmond while receiving hospice care. He was surrounded.
Beard played with ZZ Top for 56 years. Earlier this month, he had to stop touring because of health issues. His death leaves ZZ Top founder Billy Gibbons as the only remaining member.
I was always impressed with Frank Beard's drum setup and the way they made it look. Well, Frank and Dusty are in heaven playing again.
In early August 2026, a specialized medical transport vehicle rolled through the oak gates of the Top 40 Ranch in Richmond, Texas. Following his decision to permanently withdraw from the world tour, Frank Beard was brought home for palliative care in accordance with his personal wishes. The tranquil atmosphere of rural Fort Bend County enveloped the bedroom overlooking the lush green lawns. On Monday, August 17th, the legendary drummer drew his last breath in the arms of his wife, Debbie Meredith, and their children, passing away at the age of 77.
Longtime drummer of the legendary rock band ZZ Top has died. According to a statement from the band, Beard died at his ranch in Richmond, Texas, while in hospice care.
But health concerns forced the band to cancel a recent show. Now, the group's founder released a statement saying he lost a great friend and collaborator, and the world lost one of the most...
Frank has the token mustache.
The token mustache.
Yeah.
His death comes just 2 weeks after the band revealed Frank was dealing with serious health issues.
News of his passing immediately reverberated across the globe, bringing along countless unverified conspiracy theories. Across social media forums, numerous rumors circulated, claiming that Frank had suffered a relapse into past addictions or had engaged in bitter conflicts that led to his expulsion from the band. In the face of the fabricated narratives, his son, Nico Beard, officially represented the family before the press. In a resolute tone, rich with emotion, he decisively stepped forward to clear up all suspicions in order to defend the noble honor of his late father. Nico affirmed that his father had maintained a completely clean lifestyle, remaining substance-free for more than 40 years. The successful battle against addiction during the 1980s was a proud triumph that Frank always preserved with all his self-respect and steadfast determination. The sole reason he had to leave his drum kit in his final days stemmed from joint complications and dwindling physical strength in his twilight years. The bond between him and Billy Gibbons, as well as his replacement Elwood Francis, remained a steadfast brotherhood right up to his final moments. The son choked back tears as he shared his father's final wish. "Dad told us that he only wanted everyone to remember his smile and his fiery drum beats on stage, not an emaciated figure on a sickbed." In Houston, his bandmate of over half a century, Billy Gibbons, could not conceal his profound sorrow over this immense loss. The ZZ Top leader shared that Frank's passing made him feel as if a piece of his own soul had been stripped away. In an official statement sent to millions of fans, an emotional Billy Gibbons declared, "Today, the The world lost one of the most naturally innovative drummers and a true son of Texas. Frank's beat was the key that kept ZZ at the top. The bandleader also pledged that ZZ Top will continue to perform at the upcoming Austin City Limits show honoring Frank's wishes during his lifetime. The gritty blues rock melodies will continue to ring out as a heartfelt tribute to their fallen brother. Legally, the estimated $50 million estate, along with the massive music royalty rights of Frank Beard, have been transferred intact to his wife and children. This financial resource solidly secures the future for the next generation of the Beard family. The expansive Top 40 ranch in Richmond, which houses his collection of race cars and golden-era memorabilia, will be preserved in its original state by the family. This serene space will permanently safeguard the most brilliant memories of an icon's life. The farewell at the Richmond Ranch brings a resilient life journey to a close. But the radiance of the name Frank Beard did not simply materialize out of nowhere. Every monumental legacy begins from raw ground and the purest fire of passion. The Beard Paradox. On the summer day of June 11, 1949, Frank Lee Beard came into the world in the small town of Frankston, located in the rolling hills of East Texas. The young boy grew up among the sprawling fields of Irving, where rustic country melodies seeped deep into his subconscious. Without any formal schooling or training, Frank taught himself by beating out rhythms on old wooden crates before acquiring his first drum kit. Natural talent and nimble hands soon turned him into a musical sensation throughout local high schools. Starting in the mid-1960s, Frank Beard began cutting his teeth in the Dallas underground circuit, joining the Cellar Dwellers, the Hustlers, and the Warlocks, one after another. Long nights playing in dusty, smoke-filled southern bars forged a hard-hitting, decisive drumming style. A major turning point arrived when Frank joined the band American Blues in 1967. There he met the gifted bassist Dusty Hill. The uncanny chemistry between Dusty's deep-thumping bass lines and Frank's rock-solid beat laid the groundwork for a bond of the century. By late 1969, American Blues disbanded, steering Frank Beard to an audition with the extraordinary guitarist Billy Gibbons in Houston. Recognizing explosive potential, Billy recruited Frank on the spot. A week later, Frank himself called to convince his close friend Dusty Hill to join up. In early 1970, ZZ Top's legendary lineup was officially completed under the moniker the Tres Hombres. The three Texas pieces crafted a truly singular sound, a seamless fusion of raw blues, gritty hard rock, and fiery boogie rhythms. The band's sheer force rested entirely on a rock-solid drum foundation, acting as a launch pad for the spellbinding guitar. In an interview in the early 1970s, Billy Gibbons once exclaimed with excitement, "Frank doesn't just keep time for us, he is the locomotive pulling the whole train through a sandstorm." Notably, the timeless 1973 hit La Grange elevated Frank Beard's drumming technique into a classic standard. His dry, crisp snare crack, blended with intricate hi-hat work, produced one of the most recognizable intro grooves in rock history. All the same, accompanying this musical triumph was one of the strangest visual phenomena in pop culture at the time. When Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill began growing long beards reaching down to their waists, Frank Beard presented a completely opposite appearance. As the only band member bearing the surname Beard, Frank adamantly kept a clean-shaven face, or wore only a neatly trimmed mustache. Facing thousands of curious fan inquiries about why he did not grow a matching beard, Frank Beard simply gave a witty laugh and explained, "Sweat pours off me like a shower when playing the drums. If I had a bushy beard like those two guys, I'd go crazy from the itching and discomfort." Even so, behind that witty smile and the thunderous applause ringing across American stadiums back then, a dark shadow was quietly consuming Frank Beard, pushing his peak career and his very life to the edge of despair. The abyss behind the lights. In 1976, the legendary worldwide Texas tour propelled ZZ Top to global superstardom. Still, behind the continuous string of sold-out shows lay a grueling schedule that drained the very last drop of energy from the three artists. Confronted by massive performance pressure and millions of dollars rolling in too quickly, Frank Beard gradually fell into a deadly trap of temptation. He began turning to stimulants as a desperate solution to relieve tension and sustain his on-stage euphoria. The spiral of addiction rapidly spun out of control as Frank heavily abused heroin, cocaine, sedatives, and LSD. The addiction not only ravaged his physical health, but also burned through the immense fortune the drummer had accumulated across years of touring. By early 1977, Frank's physical condition deteriorated to an alarming state, leaving him unable to sit steadily behind the drum kit during rehearsals. The future of one of America's greatest rock bands stood on the brink of total disintegration. Under these dire circumstances, record labels and management repeatedly exerted pressure to force the band to dismiss Frank and seek a replacement drummer in order to keep the money-making machine turning. Even so, the steadfast bond among the three members triumphed over all commercial interests. Billy Gibbons and Dusty Hill made a decision unprecedented in music history, freezing all activities for 3 years to save their brother. Band leader Billy Gibbons declared resolutely, "There is no other drummer. ZZ Top has only one." Initially, Frank checked into an isolated rehabilitation center on the outskirts of Houston, Texas. Here he had to confront excruciating physical withdrawals, chronic sleepless nights, and intense psychological agony. Recognizing that the familiar environment of his home state still carried a high risk of relapse, Frank chose to fly to Paris, France. This self-imposed isolation on foreign soil enabled him to sever all ties with drug dealers and old acquaintances from the underworld. He once confided to his attending physicians that his greatest dream during those dark days was simply an evening spent peacefully watching television and drifting into natural sleep without the aid of any illicit substances. Extraordinary resilience paired with the steadfast devotion of his two bandmates finally brought about a miracle in late 1979. Frank Beard officially walked out of the treatment facility with a healthy body and a clear substance-free mind. In November 1979, the trio staged a spectacular reunion with their 6th studio album, Deguelo. Frank's decisive, punchy drum beats rang out with powerful resonance, serving as a forceful declaration of the miraculous revival of a talent once thought lost. The album quickly achieved platinum certification, inaugurating a brand new era for ZZ Top in early 1981 with a total reinvention of their style. Frank Beard proved to the entire world that a man's true strength lies in his capacity to rise from the depths. Narrowly slipping from the grip of death, Frank Beard entered the 1980s with an entirely new outlook. There, he not only achieved unprecedented commercial heights in his career, but also discovered the most peaceful sanctuary of his life. Rebirth from the ashes. Following a storm of troubled days and a broken first marriage, the year 1982 marked a life-turning point when Frank Beard married Debbie Meredith. This gentlewoman became a peaceful haven, pulling him completely away from his former reckless lifestyle. Debbie was not only a life partner, but also a solid emotional anchor, establishing a strict daily discipline alongside Frank. Her steadfast companionship helped the drummer resolutely honor his pledge to never touch alcohol or stimulants for more than 4 decades. In 1983, Frank's personal revival resonated seamlessly with the musical revolution known as Eliminator. The band ZZ Top caused a seismic shock by masterfully blending Frank's spellbinding boogie drum beats with trendy synthesizer sounds. The explosive era of MTV transformed the singles Gimme All Your Lovin', Sharp-Dressed Man, and Legs into global phenomena. The image of the Texas trio, with their eccentric style and captivating rhythms, continually dominated American airwaves for years on end. In the North American market alone, the Eliminator album remarkably surpassed 10 million copies sold officially, earning the band a prestigious diamond certification. From a gritty Southern group, ZZ Top transformed into one of the top money-making machines in the global music industry. At the 2004 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones offered special praise for the trio. These cats hold the rawest soul of wild Texas. Chan Titu. Amid the surrounding heights of fame, Frank's family joy doubled in 1985 with the birth of twin sons Nico Beard and Rory Beard. The arrival of the two little angels spurred him to seek a true settled home. To protect his wife and children from the turbulent snares of Hollywood entertainment, Frank decided to invest millions of dollars to acquire the expansive Top 40 Ranch in Richmond, Texas. This place became a peaceful sanctuary, helping his family remain completely detached from the intrusive spotlight. At the home ranch, one no longer saw traces of a reckless rock star, but rather a devoted father. Frank dedicated all his free time to teaching his children to ride horses, tending to the livestock, and playing outdoor sports together. Alongside music and family, Frank Beard also found absolute serenity through golf. He participated in top amateur tournaments and rapidly became one of the finest golfers among rock artists in the United States. The spacious garages at Top 40 Ranch were also where Frank indulged his passion for speed with an expensive collection of race cars and off-road vehicles. He often serviced each machine by hand, viewing mechanical maintenance as a unique way to relax his mind. When asked about his choice of a quiet country life over luxurious California mansions, Frank Beard once shared with a smile, "The music belongs on stage, but my heart belongs to Texas and the loved ones beneath this roof." Maintaining a completely clean lifestyle for more than 40 years, Frank not only salvaged his own life, but also stood as a shining example within the artistic world. He built an exemplary family, a multi-million-dollar estate, and a rock-solid music career. All the same, the march of time has never shown mercy to anyone. As he entered his twilight years, those peaceful days began to face tests from the greatest loss in the band's 50-plus year career: the silent health battle. On July 28, 2021, a tremendous shock struck the global rock music scene when bassist Dusty Hill passed away in his sleep at his home in Houston at the age of 72. This sudden departure left an irreplaceable void in the heart of ZZ Top. For Frank Beard, this was a pain beyond the threshold of endurance. Dusty was not only a teammate, standing shoulder to shoulder for more than half a century, but also a brother who shared the trenches with him in the band American Blues before ZZ Top was officially formed in late 1969. Backstage crew members on tours recounted that Frank sat numbly for hours in the dressing room after the devastating news. Having lost his most synchronized rhythm partner of 5 decades, the 72-year-old man's eyes clearly revealed a heart-rending loneliness. Even so, the band did not allow themselves to collapse under the loss, fulfilling Dusty's final wish of "let the show go on." Frank Beard and Billy Gibbons decided to continue their unfinished musical journey to pay tribute to their fallen brother. The group's veteran guitar technician of over 30 years, Elwood Francis, was entrusted with the bass guitar to fill the vacancy. Frank gritted his teeth, suppressing his deep-seated grief into every beat, and continued sitting behind the drum kit during the U.S. tour. Although he tried to maintain professional composure, those close to him noticed that Frank began aging rapidly following the 2021 ordeal. His drumming remained precise, but harbored a heavy sorrow that no stage lights could conceal. Then again, the burden of age and accumulated joint injuries began erupting violently. Piercing pains in his ankles and knees made pressing the bass drum pedal at high speed a physical torture. During the 2025 Elevation Tour, fans began noticing abnormalities when Frank had to miss several shows. Medical teams had to stand ready backstage to apply acupuncture and administer painkillers to the drummer after each set. To ensure concert schedules remained uninterrupted, the band was forced to rely on backup drummers such as John Douglas and Michael Monaghan. Frank adamantly sat out, only when his body was completely helpless and unable to rise for performance. In a rare backstage chat in late 2025, Frank once shared wearily, "Stepping onto the drum riser now feels like a major battle. But as long as this heart beats, I still want to play this music." Tension reached its peak on the evening of August 5, 2026, at the Hollywood Bowl Outdoor Amphitheater in California. Just hours before showtime, organizers abruptly issued an emergency announcement canceling the entire show due to Frank Beard's critical health condition. Frank Beard offered no clarifications to the press, quietly accepting to lay down his drumsticks and closing a 56-year performance career. He was flown straight back to Texas under the discreet protection of his family and personal medical team. The final days of August 2026 passed quietly at the Texas ranch. And as the velvet curtain officially closed, Frank Beard's son stepped into the light to tell the whole truth his father had kept until his very last breath. The passing of Frank Beard has officially closed a brilliant golden chapter in the annals of world rock music. Though the legendary rhythm-keeping arm has stopped, his immortal tones will live on forever in the hearts of millions of fans. Which song or performance by Frank Beard with ZZ Top leaves the deepest impression on you? Please share your thoughts and memories in the comments section below to join us in honoring the great drummer of Texas. If you find this video meaningful, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you do not miss upcoming videos. Thank you for your attention and support. Goodbye, and see you again.